Now I'm going to quickly introduce Victor. Vicente-Palácios is going to talk about how to create an AI research group at University Hospital of Salamanca. And he's going to tell us everything about that right now. It's very interesting because he's had a lot of experience as a clinical data scientist in Phillips Healthcare. And he's also an alumni from Data Science Social Good project, so the fellowships with the University of Chicago, and led numerous initiatives around Data Lab, PyData Salamanca, and many more that you could ask him more about it. Now I'm going to give the word to Victor. And as soon as you have everything set, I believe we can start. Hi, Vic. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, everything goes fine.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you for joining us today. And we are very excited to hear everything that you have to share with us today. If you want to start sharing your screen by now, you can, and then I'll leave the stage.
It's funny, but sorry, took me a little bit, but everyone can see my screen right now.
Should take some seconds, and then.
Okay. Just tell me if because.
Yes, I think you should try again. So you need to try the third button below to share your screen, and then confirm the permission.
Yeah, that's what
I'm going to remove my screen sharing just in case it has some interference.
I think it's me. I'm sure.
We're already expecting this that in an event today has to be always a technical problem, so that is part of the
part of anyway
event that would have to always exist.
Sorry about that. Anyway, we have the presentation.
We can try to ask we can try to ask Daniel to share the presentation.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be easier. Because it's saying like it's sharing, but it's not. If Daniel helps me, it would be great.
Right.
And sorry,
interesting to hear about how you created this research group, especially in a hospital which traditionally is not associated to either artificial intelligence or even data sciences per se. So it's really interesting, and I'm really curious to hear. I can already assume how many challenges you had in that journey, but I'm equally interested to know, aside from the challenges, how was it possible to overcome them, and what was the impact of something of this sort happening in a hospital?
Yeah, exactly. That's here we have the presentation. Thank you, Daniel. So as you said, I'm going to talk about this and what it brings me. That is just I was thinking at the beginning, what should I talk about for this talk? And yeah, for sure, we have a lot of applications and a lot of research projects I could talk about, but I thought, why not start from the beginning and try to bring that to the people, and let's share what it's been our journey since we started this artificial intelligence team at the cardiology department, because it was 3 years ago, and now everyone knows about artificial intelligence and hospital and clinical data and everything. but at that time it was a little bit rare, a little bit strange. So, well, as you did a nice introduction for me, I think I'm gonna skip this part because everything is already said. And yeah, if you wanna follow me in my social media, you have my LinkedIn account or my Twitter. But anyhow, we can skip that part. So, as you mentioned before, well, I made part of Phillips Research, and Phillips Research is mainly all over the Spain and also Portugal. We have developed different things, but this is not the thing we are going to talk about. But Phillips has a special impact in talking about research in medical data. But in Spain and Portugal, we didn't have like an artificial intelligence guy as me working as a clinical data scientist. So that's where it started. But before that, I want to talk about a really nice paper was written this year, 3 years after we started with our artificial intelligence team, but it was written by Cosgrave et al. And you can it's open for everyone, and you can see that in BMJ journal on informatics. And as you can see, they try to explain how to build this AI team in a hospital, in a public one, private one, no matter. And the first things they talk about are the problems, the challenges, as you said, that you mentioned before. So usually all of this is not linked. Different actors and different partners, as the IT department that brings us the data and the servers and everything, but they are always a little bit isolated and dealing with a lot of problems at the hospital and different departments. We have researchers and different parts of local researchers and also national ones who develop or try to do research in artificial intelligence or not, but they are mainly isolated from the clinical part. And also we have physicians that they have to do their research in their spare time, which is not really good for them. And also, well, as Phillips or other companies, we deliver models, but sometimes these models, they don't have to be exactly what the physicians need. And all of that, it's a little bit apart. So academic medicine is usually made of who publish more papers or better papers. It's okay, and nothing against that, but usually these papers or this research are not reproducible. Some algorithms are a little bit like for the data they brought and nothing else. So at the end, they have a lack of development, and also the data is mainly retrospective. It's not tested in other hospitals, or the sources are really heterogeneous, and it's a really big problem. So, but on top of that, the thing that I found the most important and the most difficult, it was the lack of communication between researchers or developers and physicians, because usually we are not really linked. And that's why Pedro Luis Sanchez, the head of the Cardiology Department, if you can pass this slide, thank you, Daniel. So the one in the middle of the figure wanted to bring this artificial intelligence team in 2017, which was, as I said, it was a really like a strange idea at that time. And so at the beginning, it was just myself. So I was hired by Phillips, and that was the main purpose, to create this team. And at the beginning, I don't know you, but I'm a mechanical engineer. I didn't know anything about cardiology, but the things I learned at the school, and on top of that, I know barely things about medicine at that time. Right now, I'm not an expert, but I understand it. So my first day was a nightmare, because you are with all these physicians talking about really strange pathologies you never heard about, and it's really difficult to get all this knowledge as soon as possible. But sooner or later, it was also the other way around. Like, they thought artificial intelligence was something fun or something not even feasible. And that's where the mutual understanding we needed to build was made. So I started to give talks about artificial intelligence, literature reviews about artificial intelligence applications in cardiology, and they brought me also knowledge from different cardiology specialties. As you saw before, we have different sub-departments like image or hemodynamics and different things that I didn't know, but thanks of them, I started to learn and understand what they needed, and that was the main advantage. And after that, we started to think, okay, we have all these dots, but we had to link them somehow. And well, we brought the IT department with us. Usually, they are always with a lot of workload, but we need them to engage with ourselves, and we needed to understand how the data was stored, where the data was, what kind of data sources we had, everything about that. We also brought some people from different research groups to work with us. That is something really important to have then, but at the hospital, not in the research center. Because at the hospital, they could experience what I experienced, all the knowledge that the physicians can bring you. And also we have other companies involved, like Medtronic. I put Phillips, but that's me. But other colleague was working with Medtronic, developing a data tool. In the next slide, we can see that. The main purpose of this is not this one. Okay, this is the team. I forgot this, yeah, and it's important because they are my colleagues. And as you see, we have a coordinator who makes part of this research team that it's called CyberCV, and we have different fellows too in the local research groups like IPSAL, and also we have this colleague from Medtronic, which is a data analyst and data business analyst who works with that. And we are really working in this data integration tool that is called Mediconet, because, well, as I told before, the data was heterogeneous and we needed to connect all this data and have all this data available as soon as possible to build things, because that's the basis of no matter which team, it's to have good data and good structure and as clean as possible. And this is what Medtronic had developed all these years, just before, even before I came. And this has been a great, useful tool for us. And also, we developed a medical platform for image medical platform. In this next slide, we can see that everything is open source, so everyone can access these codes. And now we are at the moment of physicians to try it. It's not, it's in development, but it's working and they are happy with that. And also we have developed different applications in these last 3 years. In the next slide, we can see that. We have developed an NLP active learning platform. So once the physicians write a report, this application suggests them some labels about pathologies or different stuff. So they have less workload because we just suggest them some tags and they can just say like, yes, this is okay, this is not. So like this, we can do active learning, which is really optimal. We have developed also a follow-up algorithm for a specific pathology called aortic stenosis. And we have developed different deep learning tools for segmentation, like the ones you can see below. Apart from that, we still do some basic research, like the projects you can see here in this slide. And this year, as you may know, we have been working also with COVID data. It's not cardiology related, but we have been helping other specialties at the hospital, and we think it will be useful for this second wave that it's starting in Spain right now. And apart from that, going back, so one of the most important things is following the ethical and legal implications. So every research has to pass the ethics committee, and that is something that it's been done since I started. We try to be as fair as possible. Sometimes it's really difficult because, yeah, we are dealing just with data from Salamanca or even from the regional parts around Salamanca. So that can be a little bit geographically biased. That's why we're building some federated learning projects with different hospitals in Europe. So we can deal with this problem. We follow the GDPR rules, as I hope almost everyone, and we try to be as transparent as possible. So what we do is we have all the code available in our GitHub account, and we can share that with no matter who wants to see that. And going back to the beginning of my talk, this paper that I highly recommend you to read, of course, Griff. So I pointed out the things we have already done that are the green points, and that are the ones that I already mentioned before, so I'm not going to develop that. And we have the yellow ones that are the ones that we are currently working, and the red ones that it's not that we are not working on that, but we need a lot of work to do. And yeah, real-time data is complicated. And also the integration of models is something that we are doing, but it's slow. So, well, I hope, apart from the technical problems I had, you like it, this talk. And thank you very much. Muito obrigado. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Victor.
Thank you.
So first of all, thank you, Victor, for sharing all your experience doing this team. I know that, as you said, there were a lot of challenges. And one thing that I understood that was really critical was not thinking that the two teams, the technical team and the knowledge expert teams, can work alone, but exactly to collaborate between these two elements and also involve other companies or other researchers in the investigation as per se, and work as a team. So that's, I think, a very interesting takeaway.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.